am Marcy Farrow, aka Mixed Media Girl, and you're watching The Red Booth.
Hi, welcome to The Red Booth Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Q. On tonight's episode, I have artist Marcy Farrow, who's also known as Mixed Media Girl. She is a YouTube phenomenon when it comes to painting, so you should definitely check it out and come and join us to hear about all of her cool success. So hey Marcy, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Cool. I'm so glad that you're here today because I think that you have done such an amazing job as a YouTuber, and you've probably got some really awesome stories to tell about how you've gotten to this place. Like, it's really cool.
Yeah, it's been an interesting experience. It wasn't the plan at all in the beginning. I just really liked to do art, and then I started making videos, and it kind of just exploded, and it became a career that I never was necessarily intending, but it happened.
It just happened, you know.
Yeah, it happened.
Whoops. It's funny though, because you are an actual painter and that's like your main thing, but then you also do other stuff as well on which you feature on your channel. Why don't you tell everybody like a little bit about your artistic background?
Okay. Well, I've been a painter for many, many, many years. Pretty much, I think I came out of the womb with a paintbrush is what I always say. And I like all kinds of styles, so watercolor, oils, acrylic, etc. And I've been teaching art classes for quite a while. And then, yeah, like I said, the whole YouTube thing, I just decided to start recording myself painting. And then the channel just exploded. Like, the guys at YouTube don't even know how I did it. They're like, you didn't use any keywords or nothing. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, so art has just been my life. It's my passion. It's what I can do every day for the rest of my life. Just paint every day.
Well, I mean, that's a pretty lucky thing to be because I know there's a lot of people out there who are artistic but don't actually get to do it for a living. So the fact that you've created it into your life, you know, and your career is really exciting.
Yeah, I definitely disagree with the starving artist thing. I think that's bull honky. You can make plenty of money from art. There's so much money to be made out there.
Well, I think it's interesting because a lot of people probably are like a little bit not unsure of themselves maybe as an artist. Like they're like, for example, you know, they do their drawings and their paintings. They're like, I don't know if I can sell this, or I think it kind of comes from that place.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm good enough. Am I really an artist? Every single person has that. I have that every day. Like, honestly, I have that all the time. Like, I'm not really, like, sometimes you feel like a fraud, I think it is. You know what I mean? Like, how do these people keep buying my paintings and whatnot? But you just gotta jump off the cliff and just go for it, you know? Jump out of the airplane, build your parachute on the way down. You'll figure it out.
What was the first piece of art that you sold?
Ooh. See, that's another thing, too, is I kind of got into art the business aspect backwards, you know, like a lot of people create paintings and then they put them up for sale. I didn't. I just created and then people were like, I want to buy your paintings. And eventually I was like, okay, give me your money, sure. That's the other thing too, is always accept money. Never say no. But yeah, it was probably like, I don't know. I remember my first art show was about 11 years ago.
Wow.
And I put it on myself. I just found a studio to rent and I organized this whole show and I ended up selling like 30 or 40 paintings. So wow. I think that was my first time actually selling art.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What kind of paintings were they? Like the sort of like actual caricatures or the sort of paint that's on the YouTube channel?
I wasn't doing such abstract paintings at that time, but it was pretty much a lot of mixed media. But I also do portraits and I do landscapes so it was a lot of landscapes and mixed media. Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, I think people are looking for art, you know, they're looking for something cool to put up in their house. They're looking for something beautiful. Were you doing like large paintings or small paintings or?
Medium. You know, I mean, when you get into the large paintings, you run into the problem of you have to have space to keep everything until it sells. So I do love to do large paintings, but you run out of space real quick. So mostly medium, some large, some small.
Yeah, and then you have to do prints and things like that. Do you just sell originals or do you have copies?
I don't do prints myself, but I have them on websites where people can buy prints, or they can buy even it on merchandisers, things like that. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Yeah. My daughter's actually an artist as well, and I keep telling her that you can sell her art, you know, so it's just a matter of figuring out the path to be able to sell your art to people, just putting it out there, you know?
Yeah.
Which obviously your YouTube channel did. When did you first start your YouTube channel?
May 2017. Yeah.
That's not even
it's not 2018 anymore. I was going to say last year, but no. So May 2017. So yeah, just it's less than 2 years, and it's a full-time income. So yeah.
That's wild, because I mean, I've heard that it's really hard to make money on YouTube. I mean,
Also false. Don't listen to these people. If people say you can't make money doing something, it just means that they can't make money doing it. It's so frustrating. Don't listen to those people.
well, good. I like this. Okay,
Yeah.
so like, what do you think is your special success with doing that with YouTube?
I think primarily I work really hard, so I'm very passionate about what I do. I put all of my heart and soul into it. I think that's the biggest thing, is if you're doing something kind of just halfway, people don't get as excited about it. But if it's like, let's do this, you know, and then people kind of jump on the excitement bandwagon. And then also just, I like to teach. I found a passion for teaching art that I didn't even know I had. So I love to answer questions. I love to mentor people, and then it's like people are joining my art family, you know. So it's a big family, which I think is what people really love about it. I do these live videos, and it's literally like painting with 300 of my best friends. It's awesome.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're like being supportive.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Okay, well, we have to take a break.
Okay.
But we'll be right back with Marcy Farrow, aka Mixed Media Girl. And welcome back to the Red Booth Show. I'm here with artist Marcy Farrow, aka Mixed Media Girl. Now, if you search on YouTube for acrylic paint or some of these special types of painting that you do, I mean, Marcy's channel pops up at the top, I think. It's like millions of views on her videos. And it's pretty like wild, because I was like checking them out, and it's like there's one where you're just pouring paint through a colander or something like that, and it's got like 1 million views. And you're just
Like 5 million.
5 million. I just got corrected. No, that's amazing. That is like unbelievable.
Yeah.
So it's just how to sort of like, you know, how to paint.
That's the other thing too that I think is pretty successful about my channel, is I'm not afraid to experiment. So I will go through my kitchen and be like, what can I paint with, you know? Or I did a painting from a ladder, so I like poured the paint on the canvas from a ladder. That was fun, you know. It's just like try different things, because you're gonna get different results and use different materials, and you never know what can be a really cool technique or result, or you know, you just got to try things. It's a lot of trial and error, but most people kind of find a way to do something and then they stick to it. And I like to completely experiment.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess people get sort of stuck in a rut doing the same thing over and over. And
Yeah.
you have some fun concepts on your website. That's probably why so many people watch all the videos, is because you have new ideas on there.
Yeah. I have way more ideas than I have time. Way more.
Like, what's one of your most wild ideas that has been for painting?
Okay, well, I tried this one. It really didn't work, but I posted the video anyways because it was hilarious. My sister was like, you should fill a balloon with different colors of paint and then pop it over a canvas. And I'm like, that seems like a brilliant idea. So I got this big balloon and I filled it with paint. And then I was smart enough to do it outside at least. But I popped it and it didn't go even close to the canvas. It went up my nose and my hair and my ear, like everywhere but the canvas.
Did you show yourself?
Oh yeah. Not only that, but all the paint muddied. It was just like a black mess. And I couldn't really tell what I was putting into the balloon either. But yeah, that did not work. But I have now ideas for how I could make it better next time.
Nice.
Yeah, so, it's trial and error.
You could have a bunch of balloons and pop them.
Exactly.
Right? With
Yeah.
different colors.
Yeah.
There we go. See, now I'm going to be a creative contributor to your... Not,
You should.
you don't even need my ideas. You
can come over and paint.
Oh, good. Yes, let's do it. Actually, painting is like a pretty tough medium when it comes to doing like real, structured, landscapes and people and figurines. Like, I don't know if I'm saying the right words,
Figures.
but figures, not figurines. Sorry, I like to collect figurines, but don't tell anyone. So, did you have a background in doing that kind of painting first?
Yes, I actually started with oil paint first. It was the first kind of painting I ever started doing.
That's hard, the hard kind.
You would think. I don't know. It just was what I started with. So it was really easy to me.
To compare to watercolor, like most people start with watercolor, right?
Acrylic.
Really?
Acrylic is, by far, I think, the first. But I was actually scared of acrylics. I didn't even try acrylics until I was like 24 or 25 or something. Yeah. I went my whole life. I started painting at the age of like 6, I think. And then I just would draw, and then I would use oil paints. And I would do portraits with oil paints. I would do landscapes, you name it. I love painting sunsets, one of my favorite things to paint because there's so many different colors and whatnot. And I just love the way that oils blend. You can blend them really easily, and then you have like 2 weeks to work on it because it doesn't dry.
Because it takes a long time to
Yeah,
dry.
with acrylic, it's dry in 5 minutes. You're like, what the heck? Yeah, so I started out with the oils and then eventually added in watercolors. Well, I started watercolor when I was about 11. And once again, portraits. So now my portraits I do primarily in watercolor because it's my favorite medium for portraits. And then acrylic, like I said, when I was like 24.
You're like, oh my God, it's going to set immediately.
Yeah.
I
And
didn't-
blending and whatever, it's just totally different.
And in oil painting, I'm obviously not that familiar with it myself, like enough, but I know that there's like a lot of layers that people do, right, with oils.
Yeah, and you can make it thick. You can give it lots of texture in a lot of ways that you can't necessarily do with acrylic without adding things into it to do that. But you can. I mean, with every medium, you can create different effects. So it's a lot of practice.
It's just so awesome to me that you've been able to go from being like a childhood, hobby that you loved and then turning it into your business. And I think that that's something that a lot more people should be able to do. Mm-hmm. And that if you get art classes or you can, basically learn about how to use the internet to help your business, then it creates a lot more opportunities for artists out there, which is really important, I think.
Yeah, and not to like try to plug something else or whatever, but I do have another channel. It's called The Business of Art.
Ooh.
And that's where I actually just tell people everything that I have learned just from my many, many years of working on being a professional full-time artist. People are going to ask the questions, so you might as well just answer them. I was like, might as well. So, how to ship a painting, how to hang artwork, how to put on your own art show, how to build your YouTube channel, all of that stuff, because it's something that I had a hard time finding answers for. I remember the first painting I ever had to ship, and finding out how to ship a painting, you would think would be easy, but no, people were like, build a custom crate for it. And you're like, I just sold the painting for $100. Why would I build a custom crate? That doesn't even make sense. Yeah, so I had to.
And then it's not cost effective anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I like to teach in that regard as well, of what I've learned, the mistakes I've made, the ways that I've accidentally had paintings stuck together.
Oh, no.
And I've learned from all my mistakes.
That's awesome. I think that's so cool that people can actually learn from you how to do that, because sometimes there's artists that are like not wanting to have competition or something, so they don't want to, and it's kind of silly, because honestly I think there's room for like everybody to.
There totally is. Yeah.
Everyone has their own unique art. And also I know a lot of artists who are amazing painters but can't figure out the business side of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
Well, can you tell us some of your special tips? Oh, sorry, we have to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with Marcy Farrow, Mixed Media Girl. And welcome back to the Red Booth Show. I'm here with Marcy Farrow. Actually, she's known as Mixed Media on YouTube as a phenomenon for painting and special types of art. So we were just talking about the fact that you also have another channel on YouTube where you explain the business of art, and I wanted to hear some of your tips for people on how to turn it into a business.
All right. Let's see. I just did a video on six tips to becoming a full-time artist. I'm trying to remember what I said. All right. Well, one is definitely hard work and persistence. Okay. You can't work at something for a few months. It doesn't go, and then you just give up.
No.
And you can't start and stop either, because you lose your momentum and you basically have to start all over. Two is obviously utilize your social media as best as you can. I know there's people that are a little older that have a little trouble with computer, and that's fine. Just the best you can, or get someone to help you with it if you don't know. You should have your Facebook, your Instagram, all of that. Utilize that to the most extent that you can. And then also another really good thing that I learned is you're just one person. So you have to think about it. If I'm selling paintings for $100, how many would I have to sell to make enough money to make a full-time living? You know what I mean? It's a lot.
Ooh, that's a
lot.
calculation.
Yeah. So if you're doing, only a few paintings a year or whatever, you'd have to do a lot and sell a lot. So think of that. And you're either going to have to do bigger paintings and sell them for a lot more. But I know another artist that sells his paintings for $10,000 to $20,000, but he only sells 1 or 2 a year, and that's not enough. Or you have to diversify your income, which I think is probably the best idea. That way, also, if something goes down a little bit, you have 10 other sources of income. So that can be your merchandise, affiliate programs, hook up with companies that do art supplies. That can be YouTube, that could be writing a book, that could be, all kinds of things. Think of how to do something once and then make money on it for the rest of your life. That's what I'm all about. Work smarter, not harder. So those are some of my tips. And then also just get out there and do it. Just don't be afraid. Just go for it. What's the worst that can happen? Really nothing.
It's true. And I think a lot of it is just actually starting. You just start doing it, even if it's not that great and you think it sucks. You're just like, oh, but if you keep doing it, then you'll get better and better at it. Kind of like my show when I first started my show.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing, more practice makes perfect in any type of art.
Yeah.
And with painting, I'm sure that's true too.
Yeah, don't let your fears stop you. I know that's easier said than done, but I know you love to sing, right? I also love to sing. Would I call myself a singer? No.
Right.
However,
I know.
Even though I feel like I'm going to pass out or throw up on stage, I will go do karaoke every weekend. I don't care. I'm going to push past that fear to do what I absolutely love. So in April...
We need to go karaokeing.
Yes. In April, I'm speaking at a conference and I'm terrified, but I'm going to go do it because it's awesome. Yes, karaoke.
No, that's good. I like that. So you're speaking at a conference about YouTube, right?
Yes. Well, making a business out of your art, yeah.
Yeah, because, I'm not going to say numbers, but I know that you're making a pretty good living.
Yeah.
Just from your YouTube. It's kind of amazing, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is amazing. It's a dream job. I can do it from anywhere in the world at any time. I can work at 2 a.m. once a month if I wanted to, from Tahiti. And no one would ever know.
You could just go to Tahiti and paint something and be like, bye-bye, guys.
I have done that. I've gone out of town for a month or whatever, and
yeah,
it's it's no biggie. Yeah.
That's so cool. I want to trade lives with you for a little while and go paint stuff.
Deal.
But painting is really hard for me, in terms of trying to create actual scenes or landscapes and stuff like that. It takes a lot of practice.
Yeah, practice.
But I could sketch, I could draw. That's simple. But paint, you're dealing with a moving platform. It's a moving
liquid.
Art liquid. It's liquid.
I'm your canvas is moving.
You know what I mean.
I don't know where you're painting on the train.
Watercolor. How much water you put in the paint, how far it's gonna spread. It's all not as controlled. You have to really learn how to control the paint.
Yeah, but you could say the same thing with cameras and lights and sound and whatever, I don't know anything about that stuff, but it's you just practice and
but
you learn.
But you video your own YouTube channel too.
Mm-hmm. So all from my phone.
From your phone?
Yeah, 100%. And I edit maybe 1% of my videos. The rest are just shot and then that's it.
You just shoot it and put it up.
Mm-hmm.
One take
how
wonder.
how I edit my videos is I pause. If I say, okay, we're going to be back in 5 minutes, I just pause it.
You just
And then I come back in 5 minutes and press record again. And that's my editing. I don't have to do anything.
wow. And she is making a very good living on YouTube doing this, which is that's
Yeah.
crazy. That's so cool that you can do that just with your phone. Mm-hmm. Wow. What a world we are in, guys. Get out there and do it. Just get out there and do it.
Grab your smartphone and get out there.
Now, what do you think was your success with your YouTube videos? Like, what was the first one that really took off?
The one you were talking about, actually, the acrylic pour with a colander. So that video I posted, I think it was like December 22nd of 2017. At that time, I had like maybe 10,000 subscribers. So then in August 2018, so was that 8 months later, I had 100,000.
Wow.
Yeah. In January alone, I've got like 25,000 subscribers, and it just snowballed. And then you have, you know, a big video and another big video, and it just snowballs. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, well, we have to take another break. We'll be right back.
Okay.
With Marcy Farrow, Mixed Media Girl. And welcome back to the Red Booth Show. I'm here with artist Marcy Farrow, also known as Mixed Media Girl, the YouTube phenomena. And so she was just talking about how it sort of snowballed. Like, at first you started off when you had 10,000 subscribers, and then you had your video that got a lot of attention, and it just kind of went from there. Probably, I'm guessing YouTube started to like rank you higher just when people were searching stuff. Like, there's like their algorithms or whatever.
Yeah, and their algorithms are kind of confusing, and they like to change them frequently so that people can't game the system. So hence why I never really concentrated on keywords or any of that stuff. I just did my own thing, and it worked. So
You just did something that was interesting to people.
yeah, exactly.
And I think people from all over the world could be interested in that. If they like painting, then
Yeah.
they'll just be like, you know, especially that type of paint, the type of paint that you use, and you mix things with your paint too, right?
Yeah. And I have a dual audience. So I have the people that are they like to watch art videos, and then the people that are actually interested in doing it themselves, and which is actually the larger portion of my audience. So that's another thing too, is really listen to your audience. My first, 20 or 30 or whatever videos had no talking. So it was just the time lapse with music. And then people were like, I wish you would explain what you were doing. So I was like, okay. So my first videos that I talked in, it says the one where I talk. That's the name of the video. And I was like, I'm so nervous. Oh my gosh. You know? And then it just got easier and easier to just talk in my videos and explain what I'm doing and whatnot. And that seemed to be a working formula. So I wouldn't say change what you're doing based off of one person's suggestion, but if it's a large portion of your audience asking for something, then that's a good direction to go into.
That's cool. That's good feedback from
Yeah.
them, you know? Mm-hmm. So tell us what it's like in a day of your life as Marcy Farrow, the artist.
All right, well, I roll out of bed and rush my child to school.
That's right. You have, how old is your, is it a daughter? Or
9,
son?
yeah.
Okay.
She's 9.
She's 9, cool.
Yeah, so rush her off to school, and then I come home, and currently I'm working on writing a book. So I currently come home and I designate like a couple hours of writing time. And then I go into my studio and I work on videos for both channels. On Mixed Media Girl, I post a video a day.
Every day.
Every day.
Holy
Yeah. So last year I posted 345 videos. So obviously I missed 10 days, right? Or something.
You're such a slacker.
I know. I was like, Christmas, I don't know.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then on the other channel I do 3 videos a week. So it's not as much, but still. So I go and I record, and then some videos are over multiple days, so I'll record part of it if it's something that needs dry time or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and I it's best to have a stockpile. I'm actually going out of town next week, so I'm trying to get a month's worth of videos stockpiled, which is a lot.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And on each one, do you do a new project, a new painting? And then do you sell the paintings after?
Yeah. So last year I sold over 100 paintings as well, which is good. But that's ironic that that's now like my side income. It's not even my primary, it's my side income now.
Because YouTube is doing so well.
Yeah, and I don't have to market at all because people see me do the painting on YouTube and they go, I want to buy that. And it's often like a race to see who can claim it first, which is pretty awesome. I'm like, okay.
Do you put it on eBay afterwards?
Etsy.
On
But yeah.
Etsy. That's cool.
Yeah. So.
That's crazy.
I know.
Have you ever done any like body painting art, like where you roll around and do all kinds of weird things like that?
I have a few that will be coming up with kind of that, yeah. But like I have a really big canvas, and I'm like, how am I going to get this covered? And I'm just going to set some cameras up and just go to town, just Jackson Pollock that, and,
That's awesome.
slip and slide.
You'll be like, this is Marcy's butt. Just kidding. It's so cool that you get to do this from home and like be a mom and live your life just making art all day long.
Well, I like it too because it allows me a lot of time to do my other passions as well, like being a mom. So I go and I do free art classes at my daughter's school, usually a few days a week, and when they have fairs and stuff, and I'm able to do that, and I can go on field trips. I can, and do family trips. And I also am traveling a lot right now, and that's fun because I'm doing collaborations with other artists all across the world.
Whoa,
so last
like
year
what?
I went to Canada and met up with an artist up there, and we did a video together. I went to Oregon, met up with some artists there, to Texas. I went to Florida. I went to
Painters? Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah, and resin artists and stuff like that. So
Resin? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's like a really, really tacky sort of
it
material,
is,
right?
but it is so fun. So fun. I could do resin all day. Yeah, it's amazing.
Why do you like it?
So it's fluid. Just the way that the colors blend and meld together and the reactions of the different pigments pushing up against each other, and then the dried product is so gorgeous. It's glossy, it's like glass.
Really?
It's really reflective, and it's just gorgeous. So I just did a guitar. I posted.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah,
That's the one
I
you
posted part 2 today, and then
You
there's
made a
still
guitar.
No, just
I mean, the
painting,
guitar body part.
painting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, with resin, and so I like to do fun things like that as well. What can I paint? What odd things can I paint?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great place for us to end our interview off. It's been so fun having you on the show.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah, and I hope it helps to inspire you guys out there to just go out there and paint or sing or whatever it is that you love to do.
Create.
That's right, as an artist, and throw it on there because, she just fell into a jackpot over here, pretty much. If you do what you love, right? Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and everyone go check her out, Mixed Media Girl on YouTube and the Business of Art.
The Business of Art, yeah.
Business of Art channel. All right, cool.